Yo, you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dspill, with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
And you've been tuning in to a special episode of Boss Talk. It's been a minute. How you been doing, my brother?
I've been busy. I've been productive. I'm tired, though.
Yeah, I feel it. Kind of goes together, right? You're productive, and you end up being a little overworked, tired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does.
When you're the main source for all operations and stuff that you're not supposed to be the main source of all operations, that can bring on a different level of
it's the shit that I'm not supposed to be. That's really
It's usually how it goes, man. Putting fires out you didn't start, right?
I'm about to watch the world burn.
Hey man, it's like on its way with all this stuff that's going on. Every piece of news I see is either something with the hurricane out there in Florida, or something going on in space. You know what I'm saying? So it's everywhere. It's up everywhere right now, I guess.
I light my cigar off it.
Hey, whatever brings you peace, my guy. As far as business is concerned, though,
I'm making money.
Making money?
Oh, you mean like in the world?
Yeah. I mean, you could, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you could share your thoughts.
I'm just being consistent. I don't know. You said money. I was like, yeah, I've been doing that.
You got a few special things up the sleeve for the brand that's going to be exclusive.
I'm not telling nobody nothing, man.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, I do. I got some things that are going to be in the works on the music level. I got some things that's going to be in the works on the brand. I definitely want to gear towards being more exclusive with the brand. I have some cool I got some cool ideas that I believe will. That's dope. I'm not showing y'all, but yeah, I like that. We got more, ladies and gentlemen. You got to wait for a second. I got some more exclusives. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. It feels good to be in the inner circle of things like this. I wish y'all could too, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, as far as the brand, as far as Lavore Cole, for sure, I definitely plan on rolling out another hat.
Oh, there you go.
And learning lessons from the first drop. But you know, for those that don't know, the first drop I did it to actually go in conjunction with the shirts, with the emblem logo. A lot of people were asking, you know, the rhyme and reason, but now I'm really gonna start getting in, applying the creative juices. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as the music level, I got a couple mixtape joints I want to drop as far as songs. I thought about taking all of my mixtape songs and putting them on one actual mixtape project, just because I release songs on different platforms. I usually do mixtape records on SoundCloud, and then do my actual singles on, you know, the streamable platforms like Spotify and stuff like that. So yeah, I got some stuff coming as far as my personal business is concerned. But I'm not giving no dates right now because I don't need to be meeting expectations for people that ain't gonna show up anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got all type of stuff.
I've definitely focused on my target demographic right now, rather than trying to make sure nobody is left behind, because I just think that's the best route to go.
That's what's up. You better than me, because I'm not focused on my target demographic audience or anything. I am focused on me.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I want to do.
M.I.
And like, for real, like that second design I showed you.
Yeah.
Public may never even get that, bro.
Hey man, you know it happens like that. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, the first design I showed you might be an IG only.
Oh yeah, I'm copping regard. It don't matter to me.
Like you can't even get it on the website. If you don't get it from IG, you just won't have it. And
hey, you know that was one of the most frustrating things about being a customer. Sometimes is you'll see something that you like and you don't even know how to find it. You know what I mean? It could be someone like, whether it's just an athlete or a celebrity is wearing it, and you're like, where can I I mean, with technology, you have a chance to find
I was
things
about to say,
easier, but
that's one of the main reasons behind that whole new feature on the phones. I won't say the name of the company because they don't sponsor us.
yeah,
Where you can circle it and it'll show you.
yeah,
Like that's cool or whatever.
it's
I've never
really cool.
used it. I'm gonna see if it work on my phone.
Well, I feel like it's a little too late for probably individuals like myself and you, where we decided to take matters into our own hands and create our own. But it would have been beneficial years ago. You know what I'm saying? When we were 100% consumer instead of, the other way around. But there's no here or there. Episode 5151. Africa loses billions annually. And it sounds like Western media has something to do with it.
Sounds like cap, but go on.
Well, the problem that I have with the statement, I believe that could be true because I know the power of marketing and media and in this day and age, social media. The problem I have with the statement was saying Africa, and people keep forgetting that Africa is a continent. And so when people speak about Africa or when they write about Africa, they're making it sound like it's one big country. No, it's a continent full of multiple countries. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I do feel like there could be 4 billion missing that they're missing out on in certain countries. I'm just not able to zero in on which ones. However, it is kind of confusing with that statement too, because a lot of, if we're going to kind of shift over to successful black billionaires, the majority of them come from countries in Africa. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, with all of them Iron Harrier 41 million schemes, you know how many people they got? No,
But yeah, I mean, I do think that Western media does shake things up a lot because, I mean, look at what we do here in our own country alone, as far as in propaganda and, especially during election time. But, the way that this country alone can destroy a brand or can destroy a reputation just here on our own soil with our own people, I can only imagine what it could happen on a bigger scale when you're talking trying to snatch certain business and things of that nature.
So look, a study has found that negative portrayals of Africa by Western media are costing African economies about $4.2 billion annually. Mm-hmm. That means yearly. Mm-hmm. For those who didn't know,
right?
This biased coverage, especially during elections, focuses heavily on issues like violence and fraud, damaging investor confidence and hindering economic growth. According to the study, if media coverage were more balanced, African countries could potentially prevent losses ranging from 50 million to 495 million each year, adding up to 4.2 billion over time. Such improvements in media representation could significantly boost investments and development across the continent. So, a couple things. It says 50 million to 495 million each year, adding up to 4.2 billion over time. So 4.2 billion annually is a false statement, and they made it a false statement in the very next paragraph by saying 50 million to 495 million each year, adding up to. So then that means 4.2 billion over time, not annually. Secondly, how many investors do you know that just like go based off of what other people say and don't really do any due diligence or anything of that nature?
That I know? I don't know many.
So when you say damaging investor confidence, so investors are going based off the media and they haven't actually gone to the continent or these countries themselves. They haven't hopped a flight. They haven't flown out. They haven't been involved. They haven't put feet to the soil. That doesn't sound right to me. That's why I said cap.
Okay.
Because 50 million to 495 million annually. But in the paragraph right before that, you just said 4.2 billion annually. So which one is it? And then you sit here and say it's damaging investor confidence, so investors are going based off of the news. When have they ever done that? The whole article is cap. I don't know what to believe because all of it sounds like lies. I'm not saying that there's not some truth in there.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have to play reporter when reading the news.
Yeah, that's true.
So Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Fuck out of here.
Well, I know that on Africa Business Insider, and I think that's where a lot of issues are, where it was kind of breaking it down some more, but just highlight more. For starters, it says content analysis of new stories from the 1990s to the 2010s reveal a little shift in the tone of media coverage of Africa over the last 20 years. This is according to new reported title, The Cost of Media Stereotypes to Africa, launched by African Practice and African No Filter. But even with the encouraging changes, the report notes that negative stories continue to dominate media coverage of Africa. And I think that part is extremely true, because I remember as a kid, even when they would show commercials about you basically being able to feed an African kid off of $1 a month,
cup of coffee.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the image that they always portray of a continent, by the way. And I got to highlight the fact that that's what they keep alluding to, is a continent, not certain countries within the continent.
They said countries in that.
Yeah, in the bogus one, yeah.
And that's another thing. So you said 1990 to 2010. Okay, so that's the past. 2024. You said 2010. That was 14 years ago. So why are we focused on the past? What is the impact now? Are you thriving now? They have their own outlets.
Yeah, they do.
The internet is a you know what I'm saying? Like anybody can post on the internet.
Well, it's a lot of money that goes over there too, from here, whether it's entertainers putting money in and, or people moving back there and getting dual citizenship, but I see both angles on it. I see how, again, just us having a conversation about it, it's not a conversation going in a positive direction. It's more so like, yeah, this is going on and that is going on, and we got to cipher through what's real.
Well, only because the first article I got was bogus, and then the article that you read that seemed, or excerpt from the article you read that seems like it's a little bit more legit.
Yeah,
it's talking about the past.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, okay, that happened. But we already know you can't move forward looking behind you.
No, you can't.
We look through the windshield, not the rear view. Right. So, okay, that happened. That's over and done with. What are you doing now?
True.
I'm you know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
that's true.
It's okay, like just say, bruh, I broke my leg 4 years ago. You ain't gonna believe how I suffered 4 years ago.
Is that a true story?
No. But what I'm saying though, it was 4 years ago. It's just,
so the story ain't true, but you got a timeline.
Yeah. Oh, so do they. Point proven. Next. Yeah.
Well, what do you believe about majority of the countries in Africa as
They've
far
been misrepresented?
100%. Right. And I do agree with that. I do agree.
I believe, bro, you're going to tell me that continent that has a plethora of natural resources that the world needs and wants, that they understand that and have capitalized on it, right? You're gonna tell me that place is poor. The same continent that was in alignment with, what was it, with Russia and Germany and China about their own currency.
Yeah.
That poor place?
Yeah.
For real?
Yep.
The currency that was backed by gold?
Mm-hmm. That was actually backed by something, for starters.
That's found, that you can find in Africa?
Mm-hmm.
They're poor? If they're poor, bro, oh my gosh.
Right.
Go to my IG, my GoFundMe will be up. Sheesh.
ASAP.
Man, what? God,
I believed for a long time that Africa was like that because of, you know what I'm saying, the representation.
But like you said,
it took for me to grow up to realize, this is false.
1990 to 2000, just that 10 years. You was in school over that period of time. Yep. And I mean, like, yeah, how would you know anyway?
Right.
But if I'm an investor, that means I got money.
Right.
I feel like I can invest in
And
a
then-
trip over there.
And then you also got to consider the fact that there are people that migrate from Africa to come live in the U.S. for quote unquote, and I say this with air quotes if you're listening, better opportunities. So when you mix in the handful that comes over here for alleged better opportunities on top of the misrepresentation with media coverage, it creates the perfect narrative of something that's very false. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's even interesting because I feel like when the Black Panther movie came out with Chadwick Boseman, it kind of hinted on that stereotype of the misrepresentation. Even though it's a fictional character, a fictional place, a fictional movie, the messages were 100% accurate in the statements.
The crazy thing is seeing it, I feel like from the way that they dressed to the way that they operated, I feel like that's how Africa looks.
Exactly.
I feel like
exactly.
I feel like they out there like really living it up and like they in silk and got gold throughout the
Right.
woven throughout the clothes and whatnot. You feel me? Like riding elephants to brunch. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Said it right. Elephants to brunch is crazy, right?
Nah,
But I do think they do that.
But like cause like one of the dudes he had a pet rhinos.
Yeah.
But it's just like what I mean by that is just like kind of like nature and everything else kind of like
Everything's real, organic, and real.
kind of intertwined in a sense. But they are out there having things.
Yes.
You feel me? Like they are not out there struggling. Like if you think they're moving around with spears, go out there and get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like
They will spin the block out there
it's
too.
not what you think it is, and that's what I'm saying. I can understand how at one point, seeing that on the news and being like, yeah, that's believable. But now,
Yeah.
in this day and age, you see the news and be like, bruh, ain't nobody.
Well, it's just like even when they show like China and they show Japan, right? They only show it through the lens of like their military. You know what I'm saying? They don't show like how dope it is. I seen Keith Lee had posted a video because he was out there he was out in Japan actually, still doing his thing like he does over here. But instead of just doing the food, reviews and stuff, he's actually showing what they have and showing all of the different things. And it had me like, damn, I want to go. But
Bro, I see that type of stuff all the time.
Yeah, but the average person that isn't looking for the truth has a tendency to be like, oh, it's like this, or it's communist over here, or whatever the case is. They don't really know all of the great things that some of these countries actually do have that you might want to indulge in.
Peep this. I don't even be like looking for it. I had a supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his family was stationed over in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've actually shipped stuff to him in Japan. I had a different individual who was stationed in Japan, and they shipped shoes to me, and I worked on the shoes and shipped them back, like out there.
Right.
And so, in the midst of conversing with them and watching their stories and seeing their page and whatnot, like I got to see it from more of a like personal, everyday side.
Mm-hmm.
And I was jealous majority of the time just because of the type of stuff that they got to experience or indulge in and taste. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then it's like from the sneaker side and the fashion side of things, a lot of events and drops and even streetwear legends are from out there.
Right.
A lot of
exclusively just there.
A lot of craziness happens out there, and then like the sneaker scene, the fashion scene, and all these different things. So, I mean, I don't really see the military. I see the dopeness. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been wanting to get overseas. I was.
Oh yeah, you have plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get there.
Well, I know that.
Thanks, COVID.
I know that over time, and yeah, let me elaborate on that. Like over time, from us being young until now, I think we're at a point where we've seen more of the truth about things that had a narrative, or there was a different spin
because
on how they promoted.
Because there's more outlets now. At one point, it was just the news was outlet, only outlet. You know what I'm saying? It was, unless you read the newspaper, but even then, like, it ain't like we getting the news from overseas. You know,
Yeah.
like, so
Well, even if you look at our generation,
our news had blinders in a sense.
our generation is more interested in leaving the country.
I definitely
Our
don't wanna
parents'
be
generation wasn't.
Oh, you just gave me an idea.
What's that?
I ain't gonna tell you on camera.
Hey, we gonna go to commercial break. But yeah, that's my point though. I feel like the boomers weren't as interested in, exploring and seeing what else is out there and what's true about what outside of the soil that we live on. And with our generation, not only are we more interested, but a lot of us are going and seeing, like, man, the world is way bigger than what we think it is. And I think that'll play a significant role in the future about how media, portrays things and how things are covered and stereotypes and things of that nature. I think it'll be a little bit harder to deceive now because people are actually trying to get out and see for themselves.
Western media. Who's watching the news?
Well, Western media. Well, I honestly feel like only majority of older folks are watching the news these days.
And they're not traveling.
But Western media has now expanded beyond the news. Any news, anything that reports news on social media contributes to Western media. And the reason why I say that is because something that we covered episodes ago about the different versions of TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. Over in China, their TikTok is more learning, it's more education driven. Over here, it's more controversy, right? The divisive.
It ain't even controversy. It's just crap.
Crap, divisive. I mean, take your pick. It's there.
Divisive crap.
Yeah. Speaking of media, Tesla fumbled, and the fumbled part is my opinion because I looked at the event. Very underwhelming. I think the highlight of what I seen from the event was 2 Chainz talking to a robot.
Hey, buddy.
That's exactly how it was talking too. But apparently stock prices dropped because investors didn't see any value in what was being presented between the iRobots that Tesla's trying to create, and I believe it was the taxi.
Robotaxi.
The Robotaxi was underwhelming, and they didn't even have an ETA on when it was going to be released. It sounds like it was just. It sounded like it was. It looked like it was really just thrown together, like last minute. Like, oh snap, we got this event coming up. All right, let's just bring this stuff out. Personally, I think Tesla's overrated. I think the concept is overrated, but hey, what did you think?
I didn't. I feel like the investors, like, bruh, for real, this is what you doing?
Right.
This is what we paying for? And I ain't even paying. You could have kept all of that. It just,
yeah.
I feel like there's better uses than the robot that they were, because the whole thing about it, besides being able to converse and saying I have one, what good is the robot?
I have no idea. I honestly don't. One of my questions is who's asking for this stuff?
Nobody. They're watching movies and be like, man, we can do that. Don't you watch the movie to the end. Don't watch it to where you get excited and cut it off and pull out your sketchboard. No, watch the movie to the end, because iRobot does not end with them walking off into the sunset. Like, it gets wild.
Yeah, it gets really wild.
Check that out. If you get a chance. Will Smith, before the slap. Before Diddy. Before, you know what? Let's get back to Tesla.
Right.
The Robotaxi.
Now, I can kind of see a use for that, just because San Francisco.
There's barely any use for taxis, bro.
Well, San Francisco's already been using them. You know what I mean? And it's more on the Uber Lyft type of situation.
But is it Uber and Lyft, or is it Tesla?
I think it's Tesla.
Is it Tesla Lyft?
I feel like it's Tesla, like, trying out, because my boy, he's out there. He's working out there on a daily, and he's actually recorded himself being in one, which I think could be kind of I mean, it could be cool. It could be a little on the safer end when you hear about the horror stories of some of these women and Lyft drivers and Uber drivers.
Have you heard about the horror stories with Teslas and people being locked in them and them cutting off and things of that nature?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so what makes the taxi so different?
I don't know. Maybe it's experience. I ain't rode in one, so I can't.
Makes it experience. Ain't it new?
Yeah. The taxi is new, but the concept of people riding in driverless cars is a common thing out there. It ain't really common like that out here.
Pass on the robot, on the Robotaxi, on everything. I mean, I take a Tesla, but pass on everything.
I'm trying to figure out who buys them.
Buys what?
The Robotaxi. Like who? How does that work? Like
they contracts. They contract with a company. You feel me? They supply them. You know, you already know, and they service them.
Mm-hmm.
That type of whole nonsense. It's gonna be a partnership of BS.
I mean, in the future, I think it'd be good for introverts if you don't want to talk to nobody.
That's why I stay in the house.
You got to go places, bruh.
Why?
Groceries, the
Instacart,
necessities,
DoorDash.
overpriced.
Not if you are paying for convenience. And most people pay for convenience.
This is
the
true.
Convenience of not having to deal with the stupidity of people and be around these horrible drivers on the road. Extra 50 on my groceries. You know what I get with that? Peace of mind.
Well, who knows? Maybe he's trying to figure that out, but it ain't working right now.
But a Robotaxi? Yeah.
Robotaxis, robots, and
move it along. Keep it going. Back to the drawing board. Try again.
Have you had any interest in anything that Tesla's ever came out with, or that you thought was dope, or you know this could actually grow in a positive direction if they keep up X, Y, and Z?
Nah, but I like the way the doors lift up on a Tesla X. Shit, you ask.
We haven't seen that before.
I mean, I haven't seen it on the.
I have felt like that it was Teslas have been overrated, in my opinion, since I first heard about what a Tesla was.
You know, man, the whole thing about it is first.
Yeah.
That's why. Not only is it first, it's the only. Now, don't get me wrong. There is, more
It's a couple companies.
EV cars on the road. But they're not doing anything that Tesla's doing. Now, overseas, that's something different.
Right.
We ain't not overseas, and we don't have access to that.
And you hear less issues with those other companies like you hear with Tesla.
Because they learned from Tesla. I mean, yeah. Cat's out the bag.
When you accidentally right with your point. Well, I don't know. I like I said, I haven't had any faith in it. The only faith I've ever had in Tesla was stocks at a certain time period. So I don't know. Maybe they split. I might buy something because there are people that are obsessed with what's first and what's new and what's hot. So make a little money off of them. But I don't really see the business or the brand as a necessity, other than a quick pump and dump investment.
Necessity never comes to mind with Tesla.
Like, what was the statement made by a certain businessman? Find a problem and create a solution for it.
That old dude.
Yeah. And so for me, I actually believe in that, but I don't see this. The company itself looks like more of a create a solution just in case there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's what you see.
Yeah, that's what I see. Because
that event said
when I made that statement of who's asking for it. You know what I'm saying?
That event said we just doing shit. Check out. Robotaxi. I know there's Lyft and Ubers and there's no need for it, but a Robotaxi. Here. Take a robot that can have a conversation. And the crazy thing about it is,
I was about to say that conversation didn't even really seem.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Your name's Tony? Yeah. Really? Nick? Yes. Fucking even a conversation with the robots was retarded.
The robots was more nicer than the ones on iRobot. I'll give them that.
Sheesh. Really? Yeah, but create a robot with doubt. That's crazy. The crazy thing is this. So the robot can't do anything, right? But then if the robot could do anything, it'd be a whole different conversation.
I believe so.
Bruh, if I introduce this robot that can squat, bench, lift 500 pounds and run up to 60 miles per hour, bro, they be like, we don't want that.
Yeah, not at all.
We don't want... Why? You be asking that question with a different tone. Who asked for this?
Right.
What are you doing? So it's wild.
I mean, those could work for a certain type of person, but yeah.
They can't win. They can't win. You make a robot that do nothing, we're like, that's trash. You make a robot that does something, we're like, you crazy. So either way, they make more cars. People seem to like them. And in a few years, you have to drive one, so...
I mean, we'll see, right? Especially out here with all the laws they trying to make with vehicles and all that other drama. It seems like the focus should be on cars, but I don't know.
My focus is on me.
So, I sent a very interesting quote by a very successful individual, and just paraphrasing, the quote was along the lines of, people will work 30 to 40 years for someone else rather than spend around 3 to 5 years building their own brand.
Nah.
Well, that's why I said I was paraphrasing.
You don't paraphrase with a quote like that. You got to say it the same way he said it so that they can feel it, and then we can break it down. He said, people don't have the patience to dedicate 3 years to building their own business, but they have the patience to work for others for 40 years. And he's right.
Why do you think that is?
Well, he said it in part of quote, patience. People don't have patience these days. That's why everything is instant and fast and quick, and it makes certain things faster and everything's quicker. People don't have patience. They don't know how to wait. They don't know how to wait. They don't know how to sit and be at peace until the time approaches for what it is that they want. Because patience is nothing more than your attitude while you wait. You have to wait regardless.
Yeah.
Write that down.
That's some truth. I can't disagree with that.
Not only that, do you want to be a supervisor at your job?
Do I want to be a supervisor? No.
You know why you don't want to be a supervisor?
Because I don't like babysitting.
But it's extra work. It's extra time. It's extra effort. It's extra energy. Right? Versus you just going, clocking in, do your job, clock out, go home.
Yeah, I'm probably not good for that question because the way I perceive stuff.
But I'm just saying,
you know what I mean?
But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to invest the extra time, effort, and energy. They want things to be simplified. They don't want to have to deal with the extras or the weight or the stress. You understand what I'm saying? So if I just go, clock in, do my time, clock out, they're going to pay me, and that's it. That's it. You ain't got to worry about overhead, operations, producing. You don't have to worry about everything else that goes into building up a business. And then on top of that, in the midst of building up a business, you spend money, not make it. I mean, you'll make some, hopefully, if you're doing it right. But everything gets reinvested.
True.
So you don't see any of that money. I was talking to somebody like, yeah, I want to do this and think about doing this business and this business. I'm like, all right, that's cool. But understand that for your first 3 to 4 years, you don't make any money.
No, you don't. Unless
you're only planning on doing it for 1 year. Because see, the whole thing about it is like, you do something, people see all the profits and be like, oh, that's what it is. But if you don't reinvest it to stay consistent and keep it going, it's going to be your one and only run.
Well, I would agree with all of that if we're talking about the past 15, 20 years. Because that's 100% true. But I do believe, and I'll go a little bit on a cultural level, specifically with us, kinfolk, conditioning. You know, there's a lot of conditioning and a lot of programming. I mean, you even see, artwork all over social media that show you creative ways of how life starts and how it ends. And I think that, a lot of people have been conditioned to be employees and workers more than be entrepreneurs and business owners. And the reason why it's that way is because when you look at what you're taught from K to 12 and so forth, it's all a system. You go to school.
So raise.
Yeah, you go to school. You get recognitions for certain things that you do along the lines of what is expected of you, not what your creative mind does, not what your passion produces. And so what ends up happening is you start to create more of a patience for the structure of how things are versus creating a patience for something that you have a knack for that you haven't mastered yet. And so when you keep doing that year after year after year, from a child to a teenager to a young adult to, a more mature adult, that's all you know. There's only a handful of people that naturally feel like that concept isn't right. And then there's another handful of people that gets fed up with that way, that decides to take a risk and says, you know what, I'm going to diverge and go in this direction. But I do believe that a lot of that is conditioning. So even though that statement is true, that people don't have the patience because they want instant gratification, they want certain things to happen instantaneously, there's also in the same breath much more people.
I don't know if conditioned is the right word though.
Why is that?
Because I would say groomed.
Okay. I mean, it's just more accurate of a statement of what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but on the same, well, because I'm listening to it, and I feel like, well, in the midst of conditioning, you it's almost like you kind of change somebody's. Whereas groomed, that's how you're brought up. And,
Yeah.
And what you're saying, like that's how people were, like that's how you were raised, whether it was in school or at home.
Right.
You were raised to be an employee in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're given the illusion that it works.
You're like, you can grow up to be whatever you want to be, a judge, a lawyer. You
Everything
could be
in the
president.
confines of working for somebody.
You could be the president, right? Nobody's like, you can be the CEO of your own company. You could be your own boss. Like nobody said that, but that's because our parents were groomed by their parents. And the thing about it is, if you look at what people came from, right, in like the evolution over time. It went from mines, like hard hat construction, building railroads. It's always been work though. It's always been a grind though.
True.
And there has always been a sense of pride.
Yes.
But
True.
that pride was tied to what they did back when they were working in the coal mines and doing stuff that jeopardized your life, or really working with your hands and building stuff up. And, you know what I'm saying? Like that real, like the hands that built America, that type of.
Yeah, for sure.
And so because of that pride in what you did, get you a job, get you something you can be proud of, work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of like that was instilled in them. So then they groomed their parents, and our parents got jobs and was like, yeah, work, you know what I'm saying? So they groomed us to like, yeah, you work, you grind, you be proud of what you do, and it's just like, but there's more. But it wasn't all their fault. They were ignorant.
Oh yeah, definitely wasn't their fault.
Like, if you don't know that you don't know.
But part of the reason why they wouldn't have known is because they actually seen more results from doing that than we have seen. So therefore, it's like, oh, this is proven, this is tested and proven. Because you got to think, most of our grandparents, they owned things. They either owned their home, or they owned a business, or they were doing well at certain points in areas that a lot of people aren't doing well today.
I want to say, you said something. You said it was proven. Working was proven. Or you said, I don't know. You said
the results were proven.
The results.
Yeah.
I want to disagree with that, but not in the way that you would think.
Okay.
Because yes, the results were proven, but not so much proven as in those were the only results that were highlighted. Because
Yeah,
these
that's a
companies
good
and
point.
these businesses that they were working for was started by somebody, was built up by somebody.
Right.
A lot of these inventions and things that they were using was
Right.
made by somebody, created by somebody, but they never highlighted the person who made the startup for the business that you're working for or the invention that you're using. They didn't highlight that. They
Right.
didn't really put a lot of light on the CEOs and the people who bootstrapped their way to the top.
Right.
They didn't place a lot of highlights on that. They didn't show that. All they was talking about was work, grind,
Right.
and you'll be rewarded for it. They were talking about the Indians. They never highlighted the Chiefs.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so just think about that, though. If 50, 60 years ago, they had placed more light and value on the creators, the CEOs, the startups, we might be in a whole different economy and world right now.
Oh, for sure.
You see what I'm saying,
Yeah,
though?
for sure.
So, like, yes, the results were there, but the results was here for that as well. But they only highlighted the results for working hard, being employed.
When I say the results were proven, my point is basically they were told something that they should do. And if they do it, they'll get this. Right? So when they did that thing, like if I go work and I get this amount of money, I can get this type of house and this type of neighborhood and this type of car. And that was the goal. But the mindset was never, well, what happens if I just have all these people work for me? And how much of that can I obtain by everybody working for me? So in their minds, it's like, well, yeah, man, if I go to work or if I go to school and I get a degree or something like that, and I go here and I'll be able to get X, Y, and Z, as if that was the end all be all to happiness. And then when we came along, we realized, well, all of that stuff is standard, right? Having a home, having a car, that should be standard across the board. But what if I don't feel like working 40 hours a week? Or why do I have to keep putting up with working with this same person that don't work at my speed and don't speak my language as far as in success and things of that nature? We were the ones that started asking questions like, well, why? And why do I got to live here? Why do I have to drive that? Or why do I have to tolerate this when these people that are way up here don't even have to acknowledge the shit that I have to tolerate? You see what I'm saying? So when you say ignorance, yes, I think they were ignorant, and we do mean the actual definition, not the derogatory term. But
I mean, there's only one. Like this, that's the whole thing. There's only one ignorant. People take it negatively because they're ignorant. How crazy is that?
That is
Think
crazy.
about it, though.
Yeah.
Because ignorance only means that you don't know.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we are all ignorant about something.
Yes, absolutely. But
You
yeah,
just happen to be ignorant about the definition ignorant.
Yeah.
Damn it, man. Moving on.
But I definitely think that it's almost like when you're shown the prize, right? Whatever, if it's a competition, if it's a raffle, they listen, if you participate, this is the prize, but not knowing that that's just crumbs compared to what you could achieve or what you could obtain.
It's funny. I got a perfect example. Price is Right.
Yes.
They got one that show you what it is, and then there's a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
The one that they show you what it is, it looks great.
Right.
The mystery could be better.
Could be better.
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
I'm not going to take that chance. Give me the washer and dryer.
Yep.
And then they slide it back. A brand new car.
Bro,
Like, bro,
all
I
the
cannot
time.
drive a dryer.
Hey, you just got a new dryer set at the house?
Yeah, I was finna sell that one. Shit.
But that is the epitome of like what I think. You know what I'm saying? As far as and right now, because so many people are privy to this opportunity of being able to work for yourself, so many different industries are now oversaturated because of what you said earlier, the instant gratification.
Crazy thing about it, the mystery, brand new car, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say what type of car it is. And that's the kicker. Because depending on how you do, determines what type of car it is.
Right.
It could be a Tesla.
Yeah.
It could be a Leaf. Right though?
That's true. It's 100% true, man. It's 100% true.
And nobody wants to take that chance.
Nobody wants to take the chance. You want to take the safe. And you know what?
You said it.
That's another good point.
Safe.
They take the safest decision. And a lot of people, the safest decision is a job. Why? I know what I'm gonna get paid. I know I'm gonna be able to pay my bills. I know I get certain benefits and all of these other things. But that risk. And you know why I think it's hard for people to take that risk is because the times. When you talk about years before we were even here, a lot of people had skills that was going to put food on the table and clothes on your back regardless of what happened, because they knew they had a skill they could fall back on that would generate some kind of income. Now people don't really have those skills anymore. And I'm talking about, whether it's building something or creating something, or, just really, really top tier, top of the class at a certain skill that many people may have oversaturated an industry with. It's not like that anymore. People are very dependent on technology to be able to complete a task or do business.
That's horrible.
And some of it is today's society, society's fault, but it's also the past too, because it took a lot of those things that you developed those skills with out of the schools. When you talk to OGs, they'll tell you, "Oh man, we had automotive, we had wood shop, we had, welding, we had all of that stuff." Our generation didn't have any of it.
Ceramics,
driver's ed.
Yeah, I can make you a bowl.
Yeah,
you hungry? I can't cook, but I can make the bowl.
And that's crazy because they took home ec out too. They said we're gonna take the food out and we're gonna focus on utensils and bowls and plates and things of that nature. You think any of that stuff will ever come back?
No.
What's crazy, right? Is they took all that stuff out of the schools because it was free, and then they created trade schools with it where you pay an arm and a leg for it. I think I'm gonna look up whose idea that was. Yeah, I think I might do a quick little.
I'm just trying to find an arm and a leg. We went back to school.
But with your personal experience, knowing that quote, right? Mm-hmm. In the long period of time that you've been running your brand, mm-hmm. do you appreciate having your own business more than the 9-to-5 life?
Fuck yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing about it. There's pros and cons.
Right. With everything.
The only pro to having a 9-to-5, honestly, is knowing that the money's coming. Right. Knowing exactly when it's coming.
Right.
Because as an entrepreneur and running this business, every swing isn't a home run.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying? You fly balls, grounders, and all of that. And sometimes them fly balls get caught and the profit isn't there. You understand what I'm saying? And so, you eat good as an entrepreneur when it's rolling. Mm-hmm. But when it's not, bro, it's like, it's a ramen night, cup of noodle type. You feel me?
For real.
At least with a 9-to-5, there's some consistency in the finances to allow you to have some room to breathe. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because being an entrepreneur, you grind every day. But just because you're grinding every day doesn't mean you get paid every day.
Right. See,
a 9-to-5, if you work, you get paid.
9-to-5, you can BS and you're still getting that check.
This is what's so crazy.
Yeah.
You work less hours at a 9-to-5.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's that as well. And that's what I'm saying. You're as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you're it's like being overworked and underpaid.
Yep.
And at a job, you lose your mind.
That's why I can tell a person's intentions, especially a woman's intentions, when they describe or when people describe, a boss, right? I'm a boss, boss dude, boss female, whatever the case is, because there's a misconception of that. It's easy, it's fun, it's vacation, it's yachts. It's like, no, it's stress, it's long hours, it's research, it's corrective actions, it's action lists. It's all of those things that people never acknowledge that go into being a boss.
They're talking about is the rewards of being a successful boss.
Right. Hell, even successful bosses ain't out here having all that fun because they don't have time for it.
This is also true.
Right?
Except for when they take that one vacation.
Mm-hmm. That one vacation versus people that are taking vacations all the time.
Bro, a couple of people, I need a vacation. I was like, I've never really said I need a vacation. I need some days off. I need a break.
Yeah, that's usually my statement.
Is this, bro. I heard this once and that shit's always hit me hard. And it's like, until you can afford the type of vacation you want, you don't need no fucking vacation.
I look at a vacation, the true concept of a vacation is time with those that you admire and care about, doing something healthy, doing something enlightening, to make up for that time that you can't spend with them because of the dedication and the consistency you put into your business.
That's dope, bro. That's not my definition, but that's dope.
That's how I see it, because the concept of a vacation in today's climate is more about fucking off everything you worked for just for a couple minutes on IG, a couple seconds on IG, or to flex, or just to, share this experience, tell people about your experience going here and there. That's why I say I see it differently, because when I was growing up, summer vacation or any kind of vacation, I was getting together with family I haven't seen in a while, enjoying each other's time, company, energy, catching up, whatever the case, and relaxing as well.
My definition, well, not in my definition. If I was to go on vacation, like, I'm damn near gonna have my phone on D&D, and I'm probably gonna be solo. And if I'm not, whoever I'm with is gonna have their phone on D&D, and we're gonna be out the way. And the last thing I'm thinking about is posting on IG. I just want to travel and do a lot of enjoyable, luxurious things that will create memories. You feel me? Necessarily like traveling or vacation with the family. I don't want to be around none of them niggas. I'm keeping it 100. I don't. I see my family regularly.
Right.
And the family that I don't see, like, I'll travel to see them. Yeah. And that's called family time. A vacation is not me being around any family. And I don't care how that sounds, because I want peace. I want quiet. I want solitude for the most part.
That was the point I was going to make about how we have a different perception on what we see as a vacation, but they still meet in the middle is the intentions. Peace.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's peace isn't the same, but the effects are the same of getting that peace.
Man, my peace is on a beach somewhere, and some rolled up in the shade, a drink with an umbrella, and somebody's daughter. And you can, put it together however you want from there, man.
Hey, man, everybody's piece is different, so piece it together.
Right. I'll tell you one thing, I won't be getting a piece, I'll be getting the whole thing.
Real rap, man. Anyways, man, we finna go ahead and we finna get up out of here with this boss talk. You've been tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dspill, with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
Like I said, you've been tuning in to Boss Talk. You know where to find us on all platforms. You know where to find Lavora Cole, LavoraCole.com, and on IG, Kicks and Sneakers, KicksandSneakers.com. Until next time, peace.